Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Admittedly Awful, and we are back with the second part of our Loud Learning series. And today we are going to be talking about building and unit upgrades, which is something I took a few weeks, months to learn when I came back to Supreme Commander and the Loud mod. So if you're familiar with Supreme Commander, the original version of the game, you'll remember that your commander had various upgrades down here in this little upgrade button that could be done to him. Give him some combat abilities, upgrade, some intel packages, got teleport, personal shield, things like that, and can also upgrade his engineering capability. He starts out with just a limited T1 menu of options, but yeah, you can go with like combat engineering, which is a little more combat focused, or the just straight engineering buffs to get them up to T2, T3, and then eventually to experimentals. I don't even remember exactly how the original game of Supreme Commander had that kind of broken down, but it was fairly similar in terms of being able to upgrade, and that was pretty much the extent of the upgrade options. So one of the things that the Loud mod has done, both for changing playstyles, right? So you can almost kind of think of it as like Civilization, like a loud or a wide versus tall kind of playstyle is you can kind of go tall to some degree rather than just build more factories. You can build factories and then upgrade them so that way they are more efficient. This serves different uses. It can be that's the playstyle that you like. You want to keep your fewer but better units and smaller but more developed bases, and to some extent also, and especially on the Loud AI side, is it really helps with performance. And we'll see that especially as we start talking about how you can upgrade resource producing buildings, etc. So talked about how the commander kind of has it. Well, that actually extends also to several other units in the game, and this is not going to be a comprehensive list, so you may need to pop into the sandbox and play around with all the factions yourself, just kind of see it. But there are several units that also get some options for upgrades. One of which, of course, being the support commander. It's got kind of similar to the commander, not quite in the same. It's got a few different, some combat ones, building ones, a teleporter. Now this is the Aeon specifically, so the exact upgrades will vary depending on which faction you're playing with. I think like UEF and Cyber and support commanders don't get a teleporter. So again, check in the sandbox, mess around with it, and see what you got there. And I can't even remember if the original game, if support commanders had upgrades, but if they did, well, that's just a reiteration for you. But also there are units that are even kind of lower down that have it, right? So that's an air factory. Let's go over here. So land factory, right? One of the ones for the Aeon right here is the light assault walker that you can get very early on in the game. Right out of the gate, get your first land factory, and it gets the option for enhancements, right? And that is a personal shield right there. So costs 8 power because it's an extra 200 as far as hit points on a 233 that's already kind of existing. So see right there with the upgrade. So yeah, just a way again to enhance potentially the power of your individual units, right? If you're someone who's good with skirmishing and getting some units in, taking some enemy units out and only like kind of losing your shields and then drawing back, it can help, especially in that early game of T1 attrition, where if you're good at the micro, that can be potentially beneficial. Another one comes out land factor, I believe it's T2, is the sniper bot for the Aeon. So you can see him right here. So there's your little sniper bot. And then you have this slightly upgraded one right here. So you can see those little range rings are a little different. And that is because this one actually, I think, has 2. So it's got enhanced weapon range, and then it also gives itself a little optic sensor. So it's very small optics. You can see right there, this is a smaller ring. Very small, but it's for finding mines. So you don't walk over mines. Haven't seen the AI use a lot of mines in any of my games, but again, always something there for a tool for every task, as I found in Loud. And then up at kind of the T3 level, mobile defense unit, the Vindicator for the Aeon. So you get your standard one right here, but guess what? For the Aeon, in addition to them having a actual mobile shield generator, you can also upgrade your Vindicators to kind of fulfill the same role. Now, it's not going to have the same amount of shield as one of your mobile shield generators, so like 5,000 there for 125 power. You can get a little more shield out of that one. I mean, it's actually pretty close now that I'm looking at it, 252 power, but keep it all in one unit. Again, if you're trying to put units on transports, move them around, it really just helps with a lot of that efficiency. And it doesn't even stop at T3. Here is the Overlord Experimental, and it also has a bit of customization. Got this chrono dampener on the back. I haven't messed around with this that much yet, so I actually don't know exactly how it plays out, but I'll definitely try that out in some games and get back to you. So that's, and again, that's not an exhaustive list of the units. That's just a few on the Aeon side that kind of have it, and across the tiers even. So definitely get in there, mess around with it. And then it does not limit itself just to units. So there are, as we talked about, factories can have upgrades, right? So land and air factories, also sea factories as well, but it's a land-based map. We just happen to be on here. So the land factory, come down here, got your little enhancement button, and we have quite a few different things, some of which are enhanced production, so it increases the build speed, especially at tier 3 as you're trying to build some of those, kind of T3.5 units. These really make the difference, and we'll kind of look at that in a second. So that's build speed. You can also reduce the amount of materials that's being used for it, always useful in a resource-intensive game. And then there's kind of just some utility here. You can either throw a shield dome on it, or you can throw some radar on there, get a little T3 radar package, which can always be useful. And so yeah, same thing over here for the air factory, right? So yeah, got your build speed, got your materials usage, and then yeah, your utility options. And you can see that nice little shield dome that threw on that factory right there. So we look right here at the mogul, right? Like originally it was 1 minute and 52 seconds to build, right? But you pop over here to the upgraded factory. Oh, guess what? It's only 1 minute and 10 seconds. So especially late game, when you have a few extra resources to kind of like push out these units faster, that is one of the ways to do it. Kind of same thing over here with the air factory, right? Restore gunship, 141 to build. Well, if I come over here to the air factory, only 103. So nice little benefit right there. This is one that was very important. I did not learn this till like a month into playing, right? So everyone knows you can upgrade your mass extractors T1 through T3. Well, in the Loud mod and with some of the standard submods, there is a T4 mass extractor. So I was playing games where I was, oh yeah, let's upgrade this to T3, and get my little 18 mass per second. Well, there is actually, you can take this all the way to what would be called a T4, but it's called T3 Advanced Mass Extractor and Storage, and get yourself bumped up to another 30, or another extra 12, up to 30 on the mass extractor. So do not forget to do that. And kind of same thing on the power side over here, right? So got your standard T2 power generator. Well, guess what? You can upgrade that to a improved power generating storage. So helps keep your base less cluttered. You can just make yourself more efficient and go a little taller if you want, instead of just pumping out massive amounts of these T2 power generators when you're at T2. And similarly at T3 over here, right? Got your T3 power generator. Well, it's got the upgrade to the advanced power generator and storage. And once you do that, it then has upgrades. You can throw a shield dome on there. You can throw a regen package if you want to do that as well. Your mileage may vary on whether you have utility there, but it is an option. And then, then there's other things too. Don't be afraid to poke around at random stuff, because you will find that, say, look, air staging facility right here, right? Standard air staging facility. Well, it's kind of got the same utility that some of those other ones. You can throw a shield dome on there like I have, or if you got to kind of forward farther afield, you can install a radar package. So again, kind of cuts down on the amount of clutter that you can have in the game, cuts down on unit cap, increases performance, and then just gives you, again, more options, more utility of things that you can do. So hopefully that was a good little overview for you. Yeah, just pop in, check out kind of what's what in terms of each faction, each unit, what they can do, what they can upgrade to, and mess around with it. But again, one of the great things about Loud is it gives you a tool for every task, plenty of utility, and hope that was helpful, and I will see you guys in the next one.